What's really going on with the New Orleans Saints? On paper, it's a rebuild. On the field, it's been a mix of grit, growing pains, and some absolute chaos. But let's be real. If you watched their Week 3 collapse in Seattle, you saw a team that looked completely unprepared, overwhelmed, and maybe even a little lost. And now they've got the Buffalo Bills up next? Good luck. Here's the deal. Through the first 2 weeks of the season, the Saints looked like a team that, at the very least, was willing to fight. They nearly stole one from the Cardinals, pushed the Niners to the brink, and showed flashes of toughness. Not perfect by any stretch, but they competed. Fast forward to Week 3 in Seattle, and everything fell apart. Special teams blunders, sloppy execution, lack of discipline. The kind of performance that makes fans start asking hard questions about the head coach, the quarterback, and the entire direction of the franchise. You can't put that kind of product on the field and expect people to stay patient. It's a new era in New Orleans. Gone are the days of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. In comes Kellen Moore, a fresh offensive mind tasked with figuring out if there's anything to salvage with this current roster. But let's not pretend this is some kind of quick fix. The Saints aren't just a few pieces away. They're in the early stages of a full reset. And yes, even if the front office doesn't want to admit it, this is a rebuild, plain and simple. They've got a rookie quarterback in Spencer Rattler, who's shown flashes of composure and smart decision-making. He's not forcing throws, he's getting the ball out quick, and he's avoiding big mistakes. But in doing so, the offense has become painfully conservative. We're talking checkdowns, screens, and drives that need 10 to 15 plays just to sniff the red zone. It's not explosive. It's not exciting. It's barely effective. But with the state of this team, it might be the only way they can survive. Now, that Week 3 disaster, that was something else. Rattler wasn't the main problem. That loss came down to horrendous special teams and a defense that couldn't get off the field. You've got rookies and backups on the offensive line getting crushed by the noise in Seattle. False starts everywhere. Missed assignments. You'd think they flew in the morning of the game. And that's on coaching. If your team looks that disorganized, that unprepared, it's not just about execution. It's about leadership. That's why this matchup against the Bills matters. Not because anyone expects the Saints to win, but because this is where we find out what kind of fight this team has. If Kellen Moore wants to earn the trust of this fan base, this is the week to bounce back. They don't need to shock the world, but they need to show some resilience. The goal isn't to beat Buffalo. The goal is to be competitive, to make it a game in the fourth quarter, to at least look like a team with a plan. And let's talk about that plan. On offense, it's been extremely limited. The Saints are protecting their rookie quarterback like he's made of glass. There's almost no vertical threat, no shots downfield. Chris Olave, a guy with elite speed and real upside, has been reduced to catching short passes and screens. 10 catches for 57 yards? That's not on him. That's the scheme. That's the play calling. They're not even using him as the primary deep threat. That role has gone to Rashid Shaheed, who's got big playability but has been quiet so far. Why? Because the Saints aren't throwing deep. It's dink and dunk all day, and it's frustrating. And it's not just the receivers who are frustrated. You can see it on the field and hear it in post-game interviews. These guys want to make plays, but the offense isn't giving them the chance. That's not sustainable. You can't keep asking elite athletes to run 5-yard hitches all game long and expect them to stay locked in. It's one thing to be cautious with a rookie QB. It's another to completely neuter your offense in the process. There are some bright spots, though. Alvin Kamara still has juice. He's not the same weapon he was at his peak, but he's still dangerous, especially when he can get out in space. The problem is the Saints haven't figured out how to use him in the passing game. No screens, no wheel routes, none of the stuff that made him special when Brees was under center. He's 30 now, so the workload has to be managed, but he can still be effective if used properly. Sadly, that just hasn't been happening. And defensively, it's shaky. The Saints have some real veterans, like Demario Davis and Cam Jordan, but it's a weird mix. Cam, at 35, is being asked to play too many snaps. He's supposed to be the situational guy now, not an every-down player. And without Chase Young, who's been hurt again after signing in the offseason, that defensive front just hasn't had enough juice. They're not getting consistent pressure, and the back end of the defense is full of young guys who are getting exposed. Rookies in the secondary, soft zone coverages, wide open spaces, it's a problem. You can't pressure the quarterback, and you're asking young DBs to cover NFL receivers for 5, 6 seconds? That's a recipe for disaster. The linebackers have looked lost at times, the safeties aren't rangy enough, and the communication just isn't there. It's a new scheme under Kellen Moore, shifting from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and it still looks like they're figuring it out on the fly. So what's the game plan against Buffalo? Honestly, it's survival mode. The Saints need to get out to a fast start, something they haven't done all year. They need to run the ball, control the clock, and avoid playing from behind. Because if this team gets down 2 scores early, it's basically over. They don't have the firepower to come back, especially on the road. They need long, sustained drives, efficient third-down conversions, and absolutely no mistakes on special teams, which, by the way, have been brutal. This is not a team built to win shootouts. They're not going to score 30 points. If they want to stay in this game, they've got to make it ugly. They've got to drag it into the fourth quarter and hope for a mistake from Buffalo. That's the formula. And even that might not be enough. But what matters most is the response. After that disaster in Seattle, all eyes are on this coaching staff. Can they bounce back? Can they rally this team and look respectable in Buffalo? If not, if this turns into another blowout, the pressure is going to get real. Fans can accept losing during a rebuild, but they won't accept lifeless, sloppy football. Not in New Orleans. And when we talk about the Saints' ability to stay competitive, especially against a team like the Bills, it all comes down to execution, and not just in the big moments. We're talking about the details. Blocking assignments, staying on schedule, tackling in space, not giving away free yards with pre-snap penalties. That's what separates a competitive underdog from a team that gets blown out by halftime. Right now, the Saints are teetering between those two identities. And the margin for error? It's razor thin. One of the biggest problems they've had this year is self-inflicted wounds. Whether it's a false start on 3rd and short, a missed tackle that turns a 6-yard gain into a 20-yard burst, or a busted coverage in the red zone, this team finds ways to make things harder than they need to be. That's where you need your veterans to step up, to steady the ship when things start to tilt. Guys like Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan, those are the voices in the locker room that have to keep the group focused. But leadership can only take you so far when the physical talent just isn't there across the board. The Saints' defense, for example, has been solid against the run. That's probably the one thing they've done well consistently. But stopping the run is only part of the equation in today's NFL. If you can't get off the field on 3rd down, it doesn't matter if you held a running back to 3 yards per carry. And right now, the Saints' 3rd down defense is far too soft. They're giving up completions underneath and then missing tackles that allow the chains to move. It's death by 1,000 cuts. The real issue is the lack of consistent pass rush. Without Chase Young in the lineup, the edge pressure just hasn't been there. And that puts the entire back 7 in a bind. When quarterbacks have time to sit in the pocket and scan the field, especially against young defensive backs, it's going to be trouble. Kool-Aid McKinstry, their rookie corner, has shown flashes, but he's been beaten a few times in key moments. The safety play has been underwhelming. And while the coaching staff is trying to find combinations that work, there's only so much you can do when the front four isn't generating pressure. Offensively, Spencer Rattler continues to manage games, but there's only so much game management can do when your ceiling is basically 20 points. The Saints have no margin for error because their offense isn't built to overcome deficits. They're not explosive enough to turn things around in 1 or 2 drives. And it's not entirely on Rattler. The play calling has been extremely limited. The system is designed to minimize risk, but that also means minimizing opportunity. It's like watching a team play on eggshells, afraid to make a mistake, which only leads to a different kind of mistake, predictability. The weird part is that they have talent. Chris Olave can fly. Rashid Shaheed is an electric deep threat. Alvin Kamara still has the moves to make defenders miss in the open field. And yet, we rarely see this team put those pieces together in a way that threatens a defense. It's always short game, short game, short game. You'll see a bubble screen here, a quick slant there, but nothing that stretches the field. Nothing that forces the defense to back off. That allows defenses to crowd the box, play downhill, and sit on the short routes. Eventually, that's going to catch up to you, and it already has. Let's not forget, too, that Rattler has taken care of the ball. Only one interception through 3 games, and even that came on a desperation 4th down play. So the numbers are clean. But what cost? You're not throwing picks, but you're also not generating big plays. It's the NFL. At some point, you have to take chances if you want to win. Playing it safe only gets you so far, especially when the defense is breaking down and special teams are giving up big plays. Speaking of special teams, it's been a nightmare. Missed assignments, blown coverages, long returns allowed. It's been one breakdown after another. You can't win in this league when you're handing away points in the 3rd phase of the game. And when your offense is limited and your defense is struggling, special teams has to be sharp. Instead, it's become one of the team's biggest liabilities. That's not just frustrating, it's unacceptable. So what does progress even look like for this team? For the Saints, it's not about wins and losses right now. It's about being competitive. It's about young players developing. It's about the coaching staff proving they can keep the locker room together even when things get tough. You don't build a contender overnight, but you can lay the foundation, and that's what this season is supposed to be. Laying bricks, finding your quarterback, building your identity, and most importantly, not quitting when things go sideways. That's what fans want to see in Buffalo. Not a miracle, not a win, just fight. Be ready from the first snap. Play clean football. Show that what happened in Seattle was the low point, not the new standard. Show that you've learned something. Because if this team comes out flat again, if it looks like they didn't prepare, like they don't have answers, the call for change are only going to get louder. And not just at quarterback or head coach. People are going to start looking at the front office, too. Mickey Loomis has been around forever, but how much longer can that last if this thing continues to slide? The quarterback situation will continue to evolve. Spencer Rattler is the guy right now, but the coaching staff knows what's coming. They've got Tyler Shaw waiting in the wings, and the general consensus seems to be that week 5 or beyond could be when we see him. Nobody wanted to throw a rookie into the fire in Buffalo, but after that, the leash could get shorter. It all depends on what Rattler shows this week. Not just in stats, but in command, in poise, in his ability to bounce back from pressure. The Saints are searching for answers, for a spark, for a direction. They're not the worst team in the league, but they might be one of the most uncertain. There's enough talent to be dangerous, but not enough consistency to be trusted. And against a team like the Bills, high-powered, well-coached, and playing for the number 1 seed, that's a dangerous mix. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing like never before, and all signs point to one of the most sensational moves of the offseason. SHEDEUR Sanders, the electrifying quarterback whose college career has had fans and scouts alike on the edge of their seats, has reportedly made a shocking decision. He is set to accept an irresistible offer from the Buffalo Bills. While nothing has been officially confirmed, insiders close to the situation claim that Sanders' choice is already turning heads across the league. For weeks, speculation ran rampant about where Sanders would land. Teams like the Packers, the Dolphins, and even some surprise contenders were rumored to be in pursuit, each offering their own vision of the young quarterback's future. Yet, it appears Buffalo's proposal was simply too good to resist. Sources suggest that the Bills not only offered a lucrative contract, but also a key role in a team hungry to reclaim its spot at the top of the AFC. The combination of financial incentive, strategic opportunity, and the chance to work under a coaching staff known for maximizing quarterback talent may have sealed the deal. Fans are already imagining Sanders in the Bills' blue and red, running their high-octane offense, and sparking a new era of excitement in Buffalo. Social media has erupted with speculation, mock rosters, and debates about how his unique skill set will mesh with the team's current roster. Analysts are divided, with some seeing this as a franchise-altering move, while others caution that young quarterbacks often face a steep learning curve in the NFL. What is clear, however, is that Sanders' decision if finalized, could reshape the quarterback landscape for years to come. The Bills' front office has reportedly moved quickly, sensing an opportunity to land a generational talent, while rival teams scramble to adjust their plans. In a league defined by big personalities and even bigger contracts, Sanders' next step is being watched with bated breath. And this rumor, if true, may mark the beginning of one of the most compelling storylines of the upcoming NFL season. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.